Marcus Jooste was one of the best accountants ever in this country.
Where accounting irregularities, insider trading, and possible tax fraud.
This company to be worth 200 and something billion rand that just vanished overnight almost.
If you are going to achieve success at all costs, what about the cost? It's people's lives.
We know how much he was paid formally in fees as CEO while he was the boss of Stof. We know how much Stof allegedly overinflated their books.
Feelings following the death of disgraced former Steinhoff CEO Marcus Jooste. Some feel his death denies justice in what has been described as one of the biggest corporate frauds in South Africa's history.
Good morning, I'm Carly Moyberg, a third-year Pinnacle student from the School of Accounting at Nelson Mandela's George campus. I'm honored to be doing this interview with Mostert, who is our speaker at the Dome.
Carly, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you. I wish I could be there in person. Unfortunately, due to personal circumstances, it is not possible today, but it is an enormous privilege that you want to hear from me about our journey through the Stof saga. I think it is an accounting scandal that gripped South Africa and the world, and we were both unfortunate and fortunate to play a role in that. And your audience today is all people that will ultimately play a massive role on the future of South Africa and specifically South Africa's economic reality. So I hope that we can share some ideas that will be of value to the crowd, and that you, as you move forward in life, that you take some of the lessons that we've learned and you can try and avoid them, hopefully, going forward.
Mr. Mostert, as we now said, you have become known to us through this whole Stof saga. Please tell us about it.
Carly, it's it's well documented. It's a part of this a documentary on Showmax called Steinheist, and in short, Stof is the story, not unlike the one in Greek mythology about Icarus that flew too high and burnt its wings because it wasn't actually capable of flying that high. And I think that's probably one of the first lessons that I want to convey to everybody here today, is that as you move forward in life, never try and use figures to remedy what really is not the truth. Rather report the actual reality of your business than try and use the system to improve your results. And that is what happened at Stof, is that a lot of people will say it was the fault of the now late Marcus Jooste. They will point to a lack of corporate governance, which it definitely was. But at its heart, I think it's difficult to get away from the fact that Stof in its entirety was a systemic failure. There was a failure on the part of the people who were responsible for oversight. There was seemingly a fault at the level of acceptance of accounting rules over many years, and that had a snowball effect that ultimately is now labeled as the biggest single fraud in South Africa's history. And the core lesson there, and one that we apply in our new business to this day, is your numbers are your numbers. Don't try and improve them because you found something in the system that will allow you to do that. And the precursor to us getting involved with Stof is the fact that we had a business that was started by Bram van Heijsten, Techie Town. We had built it to roughly 350 stores, and we were very excited to enter the world of Stof because we saw more opportunities. And I think one of our big regrets is that we never got to capitalize on those opportunities because this accounting irregularities and fraud were revealed. So, but life takes you on some strange paths, and one of our big breaks is the fact that it allowed us to create an entirely new business, one that we never thought we would have in the form of FrontierCo. So it if you ask me if we had to do it all over again, I probably would have to think very hard about it, but I would say yes, absolutely.
When you were talking about the lack of corporate governance, can you unpack that for us a little bit more?
Yeah, I think having not had any direct exposure to what really went wrong within Stof, you can only make assumptions, and I think assumptions are at best very dangerous things to do. But let's maybe put it into two different categories. The first is the reality is that a lot of people that were responsible for oversight missed something that is said to have happened right in front of their eyes. And I don't know that we'll ever get to the bottom of that. So I don't know that we'll ever know the truth about that. The second part is a culture in which you can't be heard or in which you feel afraid to speak up. And I think it looks like what is said today, that's what happened. So for everybody sitting here and listening to us talking today, as you move forward in the business world, you should have the ability and the freedom to act on something that you see as wrong. Whether that's the reality of a senior partner or a senior employee telling you to do something that's not right, whether it is junior employees not treating one another the right way, whether it is fraud on a small scale, like somebody that says that they found this loophole and nobody will ever find out, or whether it is somebody trying to make their numbers look a lot better than what it is through using accounting methodology that, let's say, is very close to the offside line. You must be able to strive towards a culture in which you can be open, transparent, and honest about everything that reflects the business that you're actually doing. Because accounting at its heart is the scoreboard of a business effort. That's what it is. And I think in the case of Stof, yes, definitely there was a failure of corporate governance.
What personal lessons did you learn throughout this Stof situation which influenced the way you did business afterwards?
It's a very good question, and I do hope that everybody that is listening to us today will be able to experience the level of loyalty that we have enjoyed in our business, not only through colleagues that stood by us through as we went through what was really a tough time, but if I look at Bram van Heestien, for instance, who was the founder of Town, etc., and we have been close almost our entire lives, but that process brought us a lot closer because we displayed an extreme loyalty towards one another throughout that process. So the single biggest lesson for me is that loyalty matters, and I do think that if you're fortunate in life to have business partners that you enjoy extreme loyalty with, that you are very blessed.
Can you tell us about FrontierCo and your business ethos?
So FrontierCo is a business that we created and started during and after our Stof saga or troubles, and it is at its heart a representation business in the fashion industry. We are proud to represent Aldo in this country, Guess, Pinnacle of Scotland. Those of you in Port Elizabeth will be familiar probably with the Aldo and Guess stores in Bay West Mall. We sell now through almost 200 retail stores and online sites in Southern Africa, and it is a business that really was created through desperation almost, and we're fortunate and privileged that we now employ 1,400 people. And if you ask me what our business ethos is, it is really to be 1,000% focused on the well-being of everybody that is focused on the well-being of the business. And that captures in its entirety everything that we need to do. is, Brahm always had the saying to say is that this business doesn't work for us, we work for the business. And over time I realized, and you will see it many times in your careers, that not everybody signs up for what you sign up for or what the business stands for. And sometimes you get people that also sign up for a lot more. And those are the ones that you really need to encourage and look after as the business grows. So our business ethos is to take our 1,400 families under our custodianship and to ensure that they have security, opportunity, and that they enjoy their working environment.
Thank you. Having such amazing business ethos, what would you say to inspiring chartered accountants to help them impact the world they're in?
I think the biggest dream all of us can have is that you will have the courage and the tenacity to start businesses of your own. It's not to earn a certain salary, but to pay a certain salary. And you can create a business on your own, which is very difficult to do, or you can create it in partnership, which is, in my view, the most fun way to do it. Or you can come into business ownership through being a really good employee somewhere, as was the case, for instance, with myself, in the case of Brahm, who was the sole owner of Pinnacle for many years, and allowed me to become a partner in his business ventures as our relationship grew. So my advice to everybody in the crowd here is to actively strive to be happy in the workplace and to have control of your own destiny. And I happen to believe that comes through business ownership. So I hope that you all become business owners, and I hope that you, through that, have a positive impact on everybody that will be under your custodianship, and that you will, through that, make a massive positive influence on the South African landscape, as I know you will.
Thank you very much for your investment in our Pinnacle students. I feel deeply motivated, and I'm sure all of you guys do as well, to really be able to uphold our future CA titles with dignity and to realize the power we have in our hands being in such situations. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It's for me personally and for everybody at FrontierCo, it is a huge privilege to be able to share a message with you and to share it with a university that carries the name of the greatest South African that has ever lived and one of the greatest humans of all time. And may we always remember President Mandela for the man that he was, what he stood for, and may you carry his legacy forward as you go into the business world too. And maybe just from my side, also a word of thanks. I know that a lot of work went into this function. To Jessica and her team, thank you for making it possible. And to all the corporate sponsors that supported this event at the Dome today, I hope that it is of value to them, and I hope also that they will create employment and opportunities for your class.
Thank you very much.
Okay.